All right, coming up right now, NASA is looking for a crew to spend 1 year locked in a Mars simulator. Are you up for it?
Also coming up, talk about going the distance for school to save money. Meet the college student who flies 2 hours to attend class just to avoid paying rent.
A little bit later on, a new restaurant has 10 rules for diners, including a ban on bathroom selfies and pretending that it's your birthday. Why, it's actually the hottest reservation in town.
Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
I am Mitch English, welcoming you to Daily Flash. Of course, we got a fantastic show all lined up, ready to go for you, a whole hour. If you go anywhere, you're going to miss out on that. And I think it's going to be a great day. Driving into work was fantastic. You okay driving in?
Yeah, no, I hit all the green lights today, which was unusual.
Matt, how was your drive into work today?
You, Andrea. Good for you. Mitch and I, you and I live in a relative same area, and there's one main stretch called 436 Cimarron.
Yeah.
It's got 8 different names because Florida. And if you hit one red light, you can't, it's this blockade the whole way. Even if you speed to get to the next one.
You know how your day's going if you hit one light.
Yeah,
You're like, well,
yes.
It just adds 20 minutes, no matter what.
It's a red light kind of day. That's what I like to call it. And I also say that's the universe's way of telling you, slow down, you're not going to get anywhere any faster.
And the cops are just, especially when you hit one, I don't want to say, you hit one city here, they got nothing to do, so it's just one big speed trap in the morning.
That's how they make their money, yeah. This 25-mile-an-hour thing here drives me back crazy.
And if you go
I
26, they're popping you.
I have to put it on cruise because my body doesn't know what 25 miles per hour is. The car does if I put it on cruise, but that's
Doesn't it feel like you're just inching
Yes.
along?
And just to let y'all know, like it's 25 miles per hour right before you get here, so it's like you can see the end of the tunnel, but like I can't get there fast enough. So we're going to try to make sure that you have a nice pace throughout the show today.
Yes, green lights all the way for you today. Have you heard of sittervising?
Sittervising. Sounds like something you would to look after something.
Yes, so it's a new parenting technique.
Okay,
or
no.
maybe it's an old parenting technique with a new name.
Okay,
but it's got the internet divided, as you can imagine. Moms and dads are split on this. Sittervising is basically sitting back and letting your children play and do their thing. And you're not hovering over your kids. You're sort of just allowing them to do their thing without you watching every second of it. Now, back in our day, it was probably just called parenting. Absent parenting, because they would say, go down the street and play and come back before dinner, and you were gone all day.
This is what it is. It's like, yeah, that's nice, honey. Let's go. Because that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
That's the generation. That's probably where it came from. I can understand it because, I think we're having 4 kids that are now adults and now going through a 12-year-old's development, is that it is easier for them to figure things out on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard, though, to watch them make mistakes. But the supervising I could see is like, well, I got to let him hurt himself.
Were you a different parent to your first child than you were to your last child?
100%. First off, it was, my oldest is a boy, youngest is a girl. First one, you're on top of them. And then you get to an age where you realize, hey, look, man, let them make those decisions. Just let them figure things out. And my younger ones appreciate it because I wasn't on top of them all the time. So,
I think there's so much mom guilt, too, because moms feel like if they're not hovering, if they're not doing what the neighbor is doing, then they're considered a bad parent.
That's true.
I think moms are trying to find their own way in this without having to feel guilt or shame if they choose to parent a different way.
It's the difference between men and women, right? Women are from Venus, men are from
Mars.
And guess what? You could actually get ready to go to Mars. How about staying on Mars? NASA's actually looking for 4 people to spend 1 year, living in a model version of the red planet. The experience will actually involve enduring harsh conditions and limited resources as part of the research project. You'll even have to sittervise your kids.
Really?
Out there
in Mars?
Yes, otherwise their face will fall apart like in Running Man. Not Running Man, the Total Recall. The 1,700 square foot 3D version of the planet is called Mars Dune Alpha. It's located at Johnson Space Center in Houston, but it's designed to feel worlds away. The crew will actually be locked inside the habitat about 365 days or a year, whichever comes first, and is expected to carry out mission activities. You have to collect samples, but they don't say what. All right. Exercising, practicing personal health care. Each test subject will be given their own sleeping quarters and also share a kitchen, 2 bathrooms, a medical station, working spaces, rec areas. First of 3 Mars missions expected to kick off June of 2025.
Well, you said 365, but it is a leap year this year.
Oh, maybe
so,
you're right.
You know,
Okay,
give
so-
them an extra
so-
day or two.
Extra day of
So a
insanity.
year. See, you do well on this planet because you're down to details. I'm like, whatever.
If you watch The Martian with Matt Damon, you know what those specimens are.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, when you're collecting
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is a whole different thing. There is a show that it was on HBO, and it had Tim Heidecker and I think Zach Galifianakis and somebody else. But anyway, it was this. They were on Mars, but yet like everybody was like not even like half a mile away from them, but they were stuck on this little thing. Oh, Fred Armisen was on it.
Yes,
too. That's
okay.
another person. Anyway, nevertheless, it's hilarious, and it just talks about John C. Reilly as well. I know it's all coming to my mind, but anyway, check it out. It's on
Okay.
HBO. It's really funny, and it talks about them living on Mars and going through this.
Could you do
simulation.
it?
I think I could, but nowadays we have internet, so I don't
Yeah.
think it would be that difficult. I think my wife would love me to go to Mars, but
Our simulated version.
what about
huh?
you? You think you can do it?
You know what? No, I couldn't. I'd be bored to tears. And I know people like fantasize about space travel. I'm happy to watch rockets go up and down. I think it's terrific, but I have no interest in going to space.
Okay, you know what fascinates me about it? What I would love about it is that long sleep that they always do in every movie. When you'll have to sleep for
Yes.
2 years,
Yes.
that's what I would love to
Seriously,
do.
Mitch, I feel like I'm sleep deprived by about 5 years,
Right?
so I could use that.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm for that.
So my
Yeah.
fiance's trying to be a space lawyer, and by the way, the show was Moonbase 8.
Thank
But
you.
we were talking about this the other day. She's like, "Well, I do it." I'm like, "Great. So we're gonna get married, then you're gonna vanish for a year." I'm like, "Great marriage, babe."
A year, 2, 3, you
Yeah,
never know.
yeah.
Wow.
Right after 20, you'll be regretting
Yeah.
what you said.
You'll be okay with
No,
it.
she's great. I love her.
One college student is putting the commute in commuter school. Tim Chen, an economics student, is in his final year at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada. Chen flies nearly 2 hours from his home in Calgary to school and back because the off-campus housing prices were too expensive for him. Tim takes 2 classes a week and called the unusual transportation method super commuting. A nonstop round-trip flight from Calgary to Vancouver costs roughly $100. So
Wow.
he spends about $900 a month on living expenses while staying at his parents' house in Calgary. A 1-bedroom apartment in Vancouver, considered Canada's most expensive city, is about $1,500 a month. So he's saving about $600.
Good for
I
him,
guess.
man.
Yeah.
The only thing I can relate to that was I was flying back and forth from St. Louis because I had a radio show up there, and we'd fly back down here to Florida, to Orlando, and it was around the pandemic, so prices were not that expensive to go back and forth.
And it was like flying private because no one was on the plane,
No,
right?
you're right, 100% right. But I'm telling you, it wears you out. And I know this kid has got to be just like, by the time he gets there, that he's just exhausted. Because when you get in the airports, I don't know what it is. There's something that just wears you out at the end of the day, and just the constant on the go. But God bless him. That's the kind of people is like, look, he wants an education this bad, he's willing to do that. And I know that he'll obviously be a success afterwards. There's a chef that's laying down new rules if you dine at her restaurant. Behave or get chopped. What kind of restaurant is this? A newly opened, it's called Frog Club. It's in West Village of New York City. Features a list of 10 things that's going to get you 86 or kicked out of the joint. 86, of course, the term for out at a restaurant. Chef Liz Johnson's rules include no free meals, all right, no photos inside the restaurant, including bathroom selfies, no pretending it's your birthday to get special treatment, no touching the decor. There's a no showing for a reservation or canceling more than 3 times, and you're not allowed to kiss the chef unless you're willing to pay $1,000. Also, diners are also required to cover their cell phone cameras with stickers as they enter the restaurant. I like this idea. I think it's something different. I was telling you about this sushi place I went to.
Yes.
And we went for our honeymoon, and only 10 people can go in. There's no chairs. Unbelievable sushi. But we were getting to it, and Eliza was saying, oh, I'm running behind. I said, babe, we don't have to go here. We can go somewhere. She goes, oh, we have to go. they'll charge me $50 if I don't show up. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going here tonight.
Well, because like you said, they only allow what, 10
right.
people
10
inside
people
the
for
restaurant at a
1
time?
hour. You get in, and it was amazing food. And great idea too, because like if you're only going to spend 1 hour there, and each person has their own sushi chef as well.
Now, are they down on you using your cell phone camera while you're inside?
They were cool with it. They liked it, but there was a vibe that not because you're so close to everybody else. You know, like if you're across the room and you're taking pictures, that's one thing. So right when I walked in, I took a picture just to like because she wanted me to send it to her mom or whatever, and they were fine with that. However, I could being that close to the chef, they could probably tell you, hey, put that down, but they didn't. Everybody was really cool.
Yeah.
I like this idea though. I think it's great.
I do too.
And if you don't like it, don't go there.
A lot of places have been putting that in, like Disney. You have to put a deposit down, and if you don't cancel within 2 hours, it's $25 per person.
Wow.
Disney even started implementing that a few years ago because they just got tired of people canceling, not showing up.
All right, we want you to show up for sure right after this commercial break. Stick around. We got more Flash coming up right here. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Andrea Jackson. Well, this next story will tug at the heartstrings, and it might make you pull your hair out, too.
No.
We are going all in on in-laws, current and future, in today's roundtable. So let's start with the good. A bride-to-be is going viral for releasing the message she received from her future father-in-law after she said yes to her fiancé. Now, here's what her future father-in-law, Doug, wrote. He says, now that it is official, I wanted to take a moment to directly and personally tell you how overjoyed we all are to have you become an official member of our families and us of yours. All right, what do you guys think?
we can't look at. I think it's absolutely sweet. First off, I think that people too many times, and well, Matt's about to get married, so I'd love to hear what he has to say about this.
Yeah.
Is that you are not marrying a person, you're marrying into a family. And these are guess what? All the stuff that you had to deal with, you still do, and now you're gonna have to deal with the other half of it, whatever life she grew up with. I think it's wonderful, and I think that. It's always been a fatherly thing or a manly thing, not to really reach out, but it's neat if gaining a new member of the family as a father. I guess
Yeah, Matt, what's your experience been like with the future in-laws?
Well, unfortunately, both of her parents have passed before we met, but her brother,
Way to
her
bring it
sister.
down, man.
Well, I'm okay.
I know, man.
You're the honesty.
I know. We did ask.
Her brother
Did we
and
not
sister.
discuss this in the pre-show meeting? It would have been nice to know. I'm just saying.
But having her brother and sister embrace me fully, and then like her kind of surrogate brother, they really. We all got along really well, and when we got engaged, everybody was super nice, sent us all great notes. On her end, my dad's passed, so my mom warmed up to the idea finally, but it took a minute, but she's finally there and ready.
But you're an only child, right?
Yeah, true.
So, and your moms, I think, of only sons are very protective.
Oh yeah.
Well, she's pretty much adopted me now.
Yes.
I had a long discussion with her when I was out in Vegas. I don't remember most of it.
At an Elvis concert.
But I can say this about Matt. He did something I'm not 100% sure I would have been able to do. He went on a cruise with him, meaning you're locked up. You're like, we were talking about being on Mars.
Yes.
He did that, and you came out unscathed, and you're like.
And the drink package, too.
And the drink which comes in handy. So, I commend you on that. I mean, and I think you should do more things like that because you are marrying into a family, no matter how you want to look at it, right?
This is true. All right, more to that text message as far as a textbook example goes. But what should you do when your in-laws are anything but supportive? Okay, we want you to take a listen to this next information.
Okay.
Here you go.
You're in a relationship.
I am. Yes. We're getting married in 2.5 weeks. Third time's a charm.
How long y'all been together?
3 months.
3 years?
23 years.
Whoa, baby. Have you met his parents?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm really close with this family.
What do you dislike about your partner's parents?
Man, that's a really tough question. Guys, don't even get me started on that one.
They're really quiet.
He's kind of just a bit quiet.
Too noisy.
They asked me a lot of questions.
They were a very large family. I'm an only child.
They want to party and drink, and it's a little bit embarrassing when your in-laws are acting younger than you and they think you're kind of a party pooper.
Do you like your partner's parents?
Love them.
I do.
Oh, they're cool, so
Loved my mother-in-law.
Do you like your partner's parents?
Yeah, they were,
There were times, no, I did not.
What do you think about terrible in-laws? Mitch, I know you're on your second marriage.
Yes.
What is your in-law experience
Okay,
been
my
like?
in-law, now my first marriage I was 14. Oh, I wasn't 14. She was 14. I was 17 when we first met. Relax, not married. Got married. So I grew up with them. And
It is Florida, by the way.
Yeah. And I'm not related with her. I found out from 23andMe.
That's good.
Anyway, but so they kind of raised me a little bit, because after I was pretty much on my own at 17, and I was living in my truck, and her mom let me move into their house and everything.
So
And
you
so I
guys
lived
were
downstairs.
living together?
Well,
technically?
I lived downstairs for a brief time, and then eventually I moved away. But they helped me out but they saw me grow up, And I have to be honest with you, I'm upset that now with the divorce, I don't get to talk to them as much. But like her brothers, who actually at the time annoyed the ever-living crap out of me because they were, 10, 12 years old when that first and now they're adults and I like them and everything, but I can't really talk to them. And I remember the last time I saw them, I was in our hometown, they were across the street, and I go, hey man, what are you doing here? He's like, what are you doing here? And that was the conversation, and I miss that. Matt, are you ready? Are you looking forward to, with the
I'm
in-laws?
stoked. I love her family. Her nephews, we get along great. They're she helped raise them, because her sister was kind of a single mom and everything. So they're really connected. Her sister's great. Her brother's great. So everybody seems to get along. So nobody's had any fights with that yet. So I'm an only child. So they kind of just, my mom, here you go. You get, this is what you're adopting.
Right. And you come along with it. We should mention Jackson's in a long-term relationship, but
Yes.
with your.
And I've met Alan's parents, and it's good. His family is,
Isn't that great?
It's really nice when you can all kind of get along. And his parents live up north, and his brother lives in North Carolina. So I've met everybody. Yeah.
By the way, every person has a relative living in North Carolina.
They do. It's true.
Right now.
Oh, you're right.
No, I'm dead serious.
I do.
Anyway, my in-laws now, and I'm not saying this, I wanted to make sure that I did this right, and they are the out of this world, just supportive, great parents, and loving to their grandson, always willing to help, and the only thing that I have is like when you first meet, I'm gonna have to do something.
Okay.
When I first met him, I was like, "How you doing? I'm Mitch."
Oh, and
I was
then
one of these,
Uh-huh.
and so now every single time,
Oh, so now you gotta do
and I'm
that.
like,
You gotta do the handshake hug.
and
Okay.
I kiss her mom on the cheek, and because she does the same for me. But like, I go, all right, it's been 2.5 years now, That's the only thing I don't like, okay? But like, I have to do that.
Do you feel as though the handshake hug should just move directly to a hug?
I think maybe I should. Maybe I mix it up. But I know, like, when I see him, I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
Because.
So it's awkward because you're like, what if I don't do that?
And if that's my biggest problem, I think I'm okay, right?
Meeting your in-laws at the wedding, they were just the loveliest
They're amazing,
people.
man. They're
What I
amazing.
loved was when my aunt and uncle in Daytona, my dad's brother met Leah the first time. They go, yeah, this one, because they've seen the messes I've been with in the past. They were like, no, we're good. Go with this one now, Matt. This one's good for you.
Well, we would love to hear what you have to say about this topic. Reach out to us at dailyflashshow.com right there on the website.
Yep.
We'll have this topic for you front and center.
Absolutely. We got some boss ladies, top 10 women inventors when we return.
Welcome back. In this week's Boss Lady, we celebrate Women's History Month by taking a closer look at the top 10 inventions by women. Now, you might be surprised to know that beer, the windshield wiper, caller ID, and the dishwasher were all invented by women. Check out this great list compiled by tech company Huawei.
Number 10. We start off the list with the ultimate social lubricant, beer. Beer was invented nearly 7,000 years ago by the Sumerians. Although we don't have an exact date or the name of the inventor, we do know that the first batch of beer brewers were women. Could be a great icebreaker the next time you're at the bar.
So, do you know who invented beer?
Number 9. And number 9 is the flat-bottom paper bag. What? A flat-bottom paper bag needs inventing? And second, what even is a flat-bottom paper bag? Well, here it is. Before this, there was this. As you can see, the old version paper bags were more like envelopes and were very inefficient. It carried less and took more paper to make. A lady by the name of Margaret Knight came along in 1867 and invented the process of making the paper bag that we know of today. Her innovations revolutionized the paper bag industry by replacing the work of 30 people with one machine. Number 8. When Mary Anderson came to New York in 1903, she noticed how drivers that were on the roads there needed to constantly lean out of the car and manually wipe their windscreens. While this may have been a great way to get in some exercise while driving, it was also a quick way to get yourself killed. So Miss Anderson set her mind to inventing what we now know as the windscreen wiper. She patented the invention and presented it to the motor industry, but she was turned down as people didn't believe there was a future for a device. It wasn't until 20 years later that the first car with window wipers that used Mary's basic design came on the market, and the rest is history. Number 7. Josephine Cocherine was rich. In fact, she was so rich that the biggest annoyance was the fact that the china was being damaged every time her workers washed it. But Josephine wasn't going to meekly accept that sometimes things just get broken. She was going to invent a machine that would automatically wash her dishes without anyone touching it. So in 1886, with the help of a mechanic, she created the first successful automatic dishwasher. Her invention not only had separate compartments for different things, but also used pressurized jets of soap water to do the cleaning. Number 6. Kevlar is a word familiar to online gamers as that thing that stops your character from dying 5 seconds into a first-person shooter. But in the real world, apart from being the key material for manufacturing bulletproof vests, Kevlar is also deployed widely in many other areas. It is 5 times stronger than steel, yet also 5 times lighter. It was invented in 1965 by a chemist called Stephen Kwolek, who was researching the applications of liquid crystalline polymers. Number 5. In the world of inventors, there aren't many nicknames that can match the Sun Queen in terms of elegance and power. This is the nickname the scientific community has given to Maria Telx, one of the inventors of solar power. Telx is considered one of the founders of solar thermal storage systems, and she was a prolific inventor of practical thermal devices. Number 4. Before caller ID was invented, picking up the phone felt like opening a box of chocolates. But a lady called Shirley Ann Jackson decided to take away the fun of guessing and give us the choice to not pick up at all. Please leave a message after the tone. Shirley Ann Jackson was behind the invention of call ID in the 1970s. She was also the first African-American woman to receive a doctorate from MIT. She was a brilliant physicist, and the research also led to the invention of fax machines and solar cells. Number 3. Ada Lovelace was a mathematical genius. She was so ahead of her time that she invented what is widely considered to be the first computer program, 80 years before the first modern computer was even built. She had written an algorithm for a computing machine called the analytic machine in her notebook in the mid-1800s. By a wide margin, she was truly the first ever computer programmer. Number 2. Grace Hopper was not only a real admiral of the US Navy, she was also an unsung hero in the history of computing. She helped to invent the first compiler, or to put it in simple terms, the first computer program that could translate words instructions into code that computers could read. If that's not enough for you, she also coined the term bug, as she literally discovered the real bug causing problems inside her computers. Number 1. Hedy Lamarr was a Hollywood starlet in the 1940s, so perhaps it goes without saying that she was beautiful and talented. However, fans who knew her only from the silver screen may not have guessed that she was also a brilliant inventor. Her most famous invention is frequency hopping, a way of jumping around on radio frequencies in order to avoid a third-party jamming. Although initially intended for military use, frequency hopping was crucial to the development of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. A groundbreaking inventor who also got her own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, not many people can match that.
Wi-Fi, caller ID, solar power, beer, we do it all, ladies. Well, for more information on this story or any other topic you've seen on the show today, all you need to do is head to our website, dailyflashshow.com. Once you're there, look for the Boss Lady title. You click on that, you can see this segment and many more Boss Ladies we've honored in the past. Stay with us, much more news and entertainment and everything in between coming your way right here on Daily Flash.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hello, everybody. Mitch English here.
And I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, your source for trending news and entertainment.
We are so glad to have you here for Monday. I know that it was a big weekend for Matt for sure, because the big Florida Man games were happening in St. Augustine. You missed, if you didn't see it, you missed out. And this, this is going to be coming to ESPN 8, the Ocho.
Has to be.
They had events such as evading police. Wrestling over beer. These are true. I'm not making this stuff
That's
up.
the weekend every weekend.
My favorite I would love to see was the weaponized pool noodle duel. Ooh. And then they had the mechanical gator ride. Now this thing was official because they had real American gladiators back in the 90s as judges. So they were,
and they were real cops you had to avoid.
And
they were real police officers.
So?
Yes.
I love it. I love when because look, being in Florida, I was like, oh, the Florida story, the Florida man. They just embrace it and go with it, and why not? And God bless them. It happens in St. Augustine, and I could see this being a bigger deal next year.
Did you watch the American Gladiators documentary on Netflix?
Yes, I sure did.
Didn't they mention that in there, that they were starting to do
I think you're right. Yeah, I didn't put that
Florida
together.
Man games toward the end. They were saying
they had an American Gladiators theater show out in Kissimmee where all of our touristy stuff is. I remember going.
Think of going, and they described it as medieval knights, but with American gladiators.
Yeah.
So it's just a good concept.
Yeah.
And when I was dating, I dated one of the cheerleaders for that. This was back in the 90s, so she wasn't still a cheerleader.
Back in the 90s.
And I go, really? And I go, was it 90s or 2000 when that happened? Anyway, and I go, you're willing to admit that to me? And she's like, yeah. She was cool. Nevertheless, though, next year, this time, you can check it out.
We're going next year.
Yes, I think we should go. I think we compete.
Okay, I'm gonna put this out here. I think that eventually this is going to be an Olympic sport.
It has to be. Wouldn't it be fun?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be fun?
Well, anyone can move to another city, but what about stay on Mars? NASA is looking for 4 people to spend a year living in a model version of the red planet. Now, the experience will involve enduring harsh conditions, limited resources as part of a big research project. The 1,700 square foot 3D version of the planet, called Mars Dune Alpha, is located at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, but is designed to feel worlds away. The crew will be locked inside the habitat for roughly 365 days and expected to carry out mission activities like collecting samples, exercising, and practicing personal health care. Each test subject will be given their own sleeping quarters and share a kitchen, 2 bathrooms, a medical station, working spaces, and rec areas. The first of 3 Mars Mimic missions is scheduled to kick off in the spring of 2025. Anyone interested has until April 2nd to apply. This sounds like a reality show gone wrong.
And why didn't NASA jump on that? Maybe, you can put cameras in there. They have like the Big Brother show. It might get more folks, now that we're on the moon, maybe more excited as far as space travel goes and get into Mars and that sort of thing. I'm surprised that they don't, but I imagine they really want to make this a serious deal and learn things.
You don't need people making alliances on there and just showing off their dong to get on TV.
No, but I would love Jeff Probst just to get Jeff Probst to show up, right?
Your commander. No, they don't need that.
It's sort of like an upscale challenge, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Sort of the NASA version of the challenge.
And if you think about it, it's not too far away from living in a dorm for that long.
No.
It's just that you just can't leave, right? You can't get out of it, and and imagine they'll pay you handsomely as well.
Has anyone watched True Detective? This latest season?
Not the
of
latest
True
season.
Detective?
No.
Night Country. Okay, well there's a place that's similar to
this. Okay.
That sort of replicates itself in a weird
I definitely want to
way.
check that out.
Yeah.
I love that show. I love how they change it too every year. It's not always the same story. Speaking of college, one student is actually putting the commute into commuter school. His name's Tim Chen. He's our hero today because he's an economics student. He's in his final year at the University of British Columbia. That's in Vancouver. Chen flies 2 hours from his home in Calgary to school and back because of the off-campus housing prices too expensive for him. Tim takes 2 classes a week and called the unusual transportation method supercommuting, a non-stop round-trip flight from Calgary to Vancouver, about $100. But then, the conversion rate is so different. Anyway, he spends $900 a month on living expenses while he stays there at his parents' house in Calgary, a 1-bedroom apartment in Vancouver, which is considered Canada's most expensive city, about $1,500. We got more Flash coming up right after this.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. Here's Fabian Marcano with this week's The Beat.
Well, guys, Beyonce has become the first black woman artist to ever top the Billboard's Hot Country Songs in the modern history of country music, thanks to her country debut, Texas Hold'em, which also opened at number 2 on the Hot 100s. It's Beyonce's 9th #1 hit as a solo artist, a run that now spans for more than 20 years. It's also the 26th single to top both the Hot 100 and the Hot Country Songs, a feat that happened with only 4 artists last year by big names like Morgan Wallen, Jason Aldean, Oliver Anthony, and Zach Bryan. Even the country legend Dolly Parton approves of Beyonce's country phase with a message on Instagram saying she is very proud of Beyonce and very excited for the album. So am I, Dolly Parton. I wish I had my hat. The Weeknd in other news, another big pop star. The Weeknd can't be stopped as he officially becomes the most digitally consumed male artist in the world. The Weeknd is statistically the most popular musician on the planet, and no one else even comes close. The 33-year-old Canadian singer's success has seen him set into Guinness World Records titles like most monthly listeners on Spotify, 11.4 million. I can't even say that number is huge. As of March 20th of 2023, first artist to reach 100 million monthly listeners on Spotify. The Weeknd currently has almost 30 million more listeners than second place Miley Cyrus at 82.4 million. He's also comfortably ahead of Shakira, 81.6 million, Ariana Grande, 80.6 million, Taylor Swift, 80.2, surprisingly, and Rihanna with 78.5. And his closest male challenger is Ed Sheeran at 77.5 million. Not even close, my people. Up next, J-Lo dropped some new fire visuals for Rebound, and I had to talk about this from her latest album, This Is Me Now. The visualizer, it was directed by Dave Meyers and portrays dramatic scenes of violence inspired by the New York natives' past abusive relationships. That's why it's very interesting. The song is a blend of R&B and pop, while the video is a mix between passion and torment. As a couple acts, they act out choreographed sequences blending dance and destruction, meaning like some fights, some violence. And this project comes after she recently spoke in an interview saying this could be her last musical effort and possibly her last ever album. Sadly. Leo Messi has collaborated with Apple Music to release an exclusive pre-match playlist titled The Warm-Up, showcasing a variety of genres from Latin pop and rock to reggae and cumbia. This includes AC/DC, Bad Bunny, U2, and even some Selena, reflecting his personal taste and pre-match rituals. This playlist not only provides fans with a unique insight into Messi's preparations and mindsets, but before a match, it's also like highlights of the importance of music in his life, especially when focusing and finding inspiration. But that's not all Messi's been up to. Since he already made a playlist, why not also drop a special documentary on Apple TV? Messi World Cup, Rise of a Legend Because He Is a Legend is a 4-part documentary showing off the soccer star's triumphant career and overall impact on the game. Told in his own words, the documentary details Messi's incredible career with Argentina's national football team, providing an intimate and unprecedented look at his quest for a legacy-defining World Cup victory. The documentary also features interviews with Messi's teammates, coaches, competitors, and fans, as well as sports commentators. And also, I want to talk about Bad Bunny. I got to bring him up because Bad Bunny's Most Wanted tour has kicked off in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I think he might also be the only human being that I've ever seen actually driving a Cybertruck and also a Bugatti. There's nobody like that. Also, Pharrell has called upon Tyler, the Creator, to design a capsule collection for Louis Vuitton. Go check it out on his Instagram. The collection is set to launch on March 21st. And Pharrell and Tyler have worked together back in music, but now it's fashion, and I'm telling you, this gets really fashionable. I love the new style. That's all for the beat, and you can check out more information on dailyflashlatino.com and check out your local listings and times. Don't forget.
KSA Entertainment is proud to produce and provide a robust collection of entertaining, uplifting, and timely content to broadcast, cable, and streaming platforms in the U.S., Canada, and Puerto Rico. KSA Entertainment. On point, on air.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. All right, he's black, white, and Asian. No, not our producer, Sweet Baby James, at all. He did his 23andMe, and
he wrote that,
and he wrote that. I need to make sure we know. Although he does consider himself to match that description. It's our favorite kung fu fighter, the Dragon Warrior himself, Po.
Tai Lung, big fan. Once I possess the kung fu of every master villain, no one will dare question my power.
Not even the great Dragon Warrior.
Who's that?
The most powerful shape-shifting sorceress, the Chameleon.
How do I find the chameleon?
I'm gonna lead you right to her front door.
All right.
Yep, the Dragon Warrior is back. I mean, it's made hundreds of millions of dollars at the box
Yes.
office, Mitch, but it's coming up against some tough competition. Dune 2 will be in the box office at that particular time, Ghostbusters, so it's going to be a tough combination of competition.
No kidding at all. But Kung Fu Panda, by the way, my son, they grew up with it. He was running around saying skadoosh all the time. And every time I see Kung Fu, I always think of, Jack Black playing that role. And we were actually going to have a Kung Fu master come in and show us some moves, but he didn't show up. So we now know why, though. You remember this guy? Remember how popular he was? If I tried Kung Fu, that's exactly how it would turn out as well. But hey, you know what's kind of cool is for our viewers here, Daily Flash viewers in the Orlando area, if you go to our social media pages, you'll have a chance to actually get tickets for an advanced screening to check this out. And it's one of those franchises that it's always fun. It always comes out. And as I said, my kids, it takes me back to when the first one came out, in the skadoosh and that sort of thing.
And what
So
I
it's
love
neat to see
about
that.
these kinds of movies, and Kung Fu Panda in particular, is it appeals to the adult audience
Yes.
if you're watching it, and also for the kids.
And there's all those jokes that are in there as well. And you know what? It's about time we have we can take the whole family out to the movies. And this is one of them. Kung Fu Panda, of course, check that out in theater soon. And of course, head to our social media pages. If you're here in the Orlando area, could actually get some tickets to go check it out before anybody else
Your
does.
chance for a special pre-screening. Well, spring is just a few weeks away, and beauty and lifestyle editor Joanne Butler has some amazing beauty deals to help you rejuvenate for the new season.
Oh, hi, thanks for having me. Well, let's start with skincare. Nothing rejuvenates your skin and leaves it prepped for the new season quite like a chemical peel. What it does is essentially speeds up that natural exfoliation process our skin already goes through on its own and just leaves it looking fresh and glowing. It can also help improve the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles and acne, discoloration, rosacea, even some sensitive skin conditions. And National Peel Day is March 10th, and Massage Envy, you may know them for fabulous massages, but they're also a leader in skincare with great facials and dermaplaning and chemical peels, and they're having some great deals just in time for National Peel Day. And they're using these PCA skin products, which are just really special and unique ingredient blends that deliver a comfortable treatment experience without sacrificing efficacy. They have expert estheticians too that customize your treatment depending on your goals and your skin type. And after your service, they'll even send you home with complimentary PCA skin products to protect your investments. So just great stuff. Now's the perfect time to treat yourself too, because from March 10th through the 24th, they're giving away a full-size daily exfoliant worth $46 when you spend $150 or more on PCA skin products at participating Massage Envy locations. Now, let's talk hair care. After a cold, harsh winter, your hair can often feel dry, dull, and damaged, and Pantene is always my go-to there, and they have two amazing new shampoo and conditioning collections right at Costco that just give your hair the springtime shine, hydration, and protection it deserves. Full of high-end skincare inspired ingredients like provitamin B5 and keratin, coconut oil, and vitamin E that just nourish your hair, make it super shiny, soft, and hydrated. The first collection is the Multitasker 10. Now, this actually does 10 things at once. It repairs up to 6 months of damage. And through March 17th, they're having a special deal at Costco. And then the other is the new Essential Botanical Strawberry and Coconut Milk. This is derm-tested, sulfate-free. It has a delicious berry and coconut scent and just drenches your hair in softness. Just a whole shower experience, too, because it smells just amazing. Again, both of these can be had at Costco. Talk about Lux for less here. And you can do a lot with those savings, you know. You can buy something new for your spring wardrobe. Speaking of which, it's all about denim come spring. Head-to-toe denim, especially blue. We're also seeing a lot of metallics. Metallics are making a comeback. Gold, silver, you name it. So sparkle and shine and denim for spring. And there you have it. Happy spring.
Fantastic. Let's take a closer look at family health care and what it takes to actually, if a loved one is actually diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Here's more.
A new survey sponsored by Otska reveals half of caregivers caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's disease or dementia report they feel unprepared for the role.
The survey focused on sandwich generation caregivers who are also juggling a career and parenting. 96% of those surveyed found it challenging to discuss their loved one's diagnosis with their children. Otska has released a children's film to help parents explain a loved one's Alzheimer's diagnosis.
Visit otska-us.com to learn more.
Well, check this out. These newlyweds wanted to have their wedding cake and eat it too. An anonymous bride and groom earned a takedown in the Facebook group called That's It, I'm Wedding Shaming after sending invitations with a shocking request. The pair were called out for asking friends and family to send money along with their RSVP to help cover the cost of the dinner reception. The invitation said, in lieu of gifts, we ask that you contribute toward the cost of our reception buffet. It noted that the cost per person would be $40 for adults and $20 for children aged 12 and younger. Many called the move tacky.
I think it's all in the wording of it, right?
Yes.
You know, I mean, I appreciate it because, I mean, it costs a lot to get married and that sort of thing. But if you know you're going there and you're going to pay the $40, there's got to be some way in the wording. It's like, hey, if you would like to, but that is the way it sounded like this is what we want you got to do. Hey, if you'd like to help out the couple, here's a QR code and you can send some cash to it and do it that way.
Yeah, as opposed to, can you please pay for the dinner reception?
Right.
And I like the idea of them saying, in lieu of gifts, why don't you do this? However, I think a lot of people think, look, if you can't afford to pay for the dinner reception, then maybe you shouldn't have one. Maybe you should just have cocktails and cake and call it a day.
Take it down a little bit. Yeah, you know, you definitely, if you're going to do anything, yes, have the reception for sure because, you know, obviously that's where you get the toasters and the money. So I agree with that. What do you think? Let us know. Flash at dailyflashshow.com. We'll have more after this. Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. Let's take a look at the lifestyles of the rich and famous. We're going to dive into some celebrity real estate.
Okay, let's start with a luxury Miami Beach home owned by a nightlife guru and former Studio 54 co-owner Ian Schraker. It is now on the market for $7.5 million. Right. The property is located in the Miami Beach Edition Hotel, a project he started with the Marriott Group back in 2014. Schraker was the first and only occupant of this unit. The main selling point, well, you can see right there. The expansive rooftop terrace includes a hot tub and even an outdoor kitchen. It offers picturesque views of both the beach and the city. It's currently the only listing in the building with a rooftop terrace. The apartment features 2 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms with 2,000 square feet of living and entertaining space. You could live out on the terrace.
Isn't that great? Yeah, when you're the guy that builds the whole building or in charge of it, at least you make sure that where you live is going to be the nicest. Pop star Taylor Swift certainly likes shiny things. The 34-year-old cruel summer singer is staying in a luxury penthouse at the Sydney Hotel during a stop at her Eras tour. The presidential villa, it includes sweeping views of the Sydney Opera House and Harbor. Costs about $25,000 a night. Digs are located on the 88th floor. They feature floor-to-ceiling windows along with an open air terrace, as well as a private infinity pool. The 14-time Grammy winner had plenty of space in her hotel room, which was equipped with a piano and karaoke room. Also has an office, massage suite, private gym, marble spa-style bath, as well as a king-size bedroom for the queen.
Could you imagine getting that and then never really spending time in your room?
Yeah, I'm like, well, we got to go to rehearsal. We got to go to the concert. 100%.
Great room, but I never spend any time in it. Oscar winner Emma Stone just pulled off a serious real estate victory. She found a very eager buyer for her elegant Los Angeles home. The petite compound was listed for sale about a month ago for less than $4 million. It just sold for $4.3 million.
Nice.
The actress bought the 1920s Spanish-style estate in 2019 for around $2 million. The home is set on a gorgeous tree-lined block and includes 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms across 3,276 square feet of newly renovated living
That's
space.
classic. I love
Beautiful.
her, man.
Yeah,
I love
she's
Emma Stone. I
great.
think she's awesome. We love you, actually. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, there's more to Daily Flash. Where?
Yeah, on our website. For more information on any of today's stories, be sure to visit dailyflashshow.com.
We'll see you back here, same time, same place. Y'all take care. We'll see you when we look at you.
Be good.
Bye-bye, everyone.